Land flowing with milk and honey, what he promised. She's the bride of the King. The land flowing with milk and honey, what he promised. She's the bride of the King. The meek inherit the earth, and those who keep your way in spiritual birth. Time to right all the wrongs. Renew the sun so we can overcome. The land flowing with milk and honey, what he promised. She's the bride of the King. The land flowing with milk and honey, what he promised. She's the bride of the King. She is covered in gold. Her foundation is made up of precious stones. Her gates are made out of pearls, whose light within shines on the whole wide world. Because of the lamp of the Lamb, the Father gave all into his hands. The righteous will dwell with the King, and their righteousness is a fine linen. The land flowing with milk and honey, what he promised. She's the bride of the King. The land flowing with milk and honey, what he promised. She's the bride of the King.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Glad you all can make it here. The high Shabbat of the last day of Matzah. And some pretty interesting stuff we're going to get into today. And actually, it's going to be about the city Jericho or Yaracho. And something I was just studying out this morning was, the whole march around Jericho was during the Unleavened Bread. So pretty interesting stuff. And I haven't had a chance to study super deep into any of it or anything, but I just wanted to present it today so we can all really actually study into it together. I think it's pretty interesting. But Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Sorry, just checking the chat here. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Good to see you all. So yeah, we got the House of Pacey. Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha. And Sister Kelly also included in there. Shabbat Shalom, sister. And we got Sumi and Brandon. Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha. And Sister
Shabbat
Sherry.
shalom.
Good to hear you, brother.
Good to be here, brother.
Barak Yahuah. And then we got Sister Sherry. Shabbat Shalom. Good to see you, sister. And Brother Michael Casey. Shabbat Shalom. Good to have you here, brother. As always. And Brother Jacob. Shabbat Shalom. Good to have you here. And Tabitha. Shabbat Shalom, sister. Akudi. And then we got Sister Wendy. Shabbat Shalom, sister. From South Africa. Love it. And then, we got the House of Pacey again. All of the House of Pacey. And then Brother AP, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you here. Oh. And then we got Sister Miranda, Shabbat Shalom. And then Sister Tracy, Shabbat Shalom. Good to have you all here. Sister Rebecca, House of Pacey, Shabbat Shalom, sister. And then Bobby, Shabbat Shalom. Good to see you, brother. And I see everybody's taking a little nap there. That's kind of awesome. And Sister Jackie, Shabbat Shalom, sister. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you here. Yeah, don't wake them. And then Silas, little brother, Shabbat Shalom. I see you're not taking a nap there, but it's all good. And then Sister Kayleen, Shabbat Shalom. All right. She took your spot. Yeah. It happens sometimes. All right. So today we're going to start off, well, first with a prayer. But it's the High Shabbat, the last day of Unleavened Bread. We're going to get into the story of Yaracho here, or Jericho, the city of the moon, and how it was the 7 days of unleavened bread that they did the march around it. Pretty interesting stuff. And then we're planning on, well, we'll see if they wake up from their nap, but planning on having some live music from Sister Marissa. And then, of course, just our normal, fellowships we do, especially for the High Shabbats. Very important. So let me go ahead, all the pictures in chat. Let me go ahead and open up with some prayer, and then we'll get right into it. Father Abba Yahuah, we come to you in prayer to ask for your blessings and your guidance as we fellowship for your high Kodesh day, the last day of unleavened bread. We thank you for all the mishpacha, all here. We thank you for the blessing of just coming together and being able to fellowship on your Kodesh days. And please continue to guide us and to lead us as we read and study through your word. And I wanted to pray a hedge of protection around our whole fellowship here and everybody in it. We know the enemy likes to fight hard, and especially around your Kodesh days. And I also wanted to pray for those who are struggling through trials, tribulations, stress, whatever it may be. We all need your strength to be able to endure to the end. And I pray to you in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, and let it be so. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Tabitha, for the app message. All right. So let me share my screen here first. So we're going to read starting in Joshua chapter 5 and starting in verse 10. And we'll read all the way through to the end of chapter 6, because it's all about the whole Jericho incident, what happened there. And Dwayne and Ken and Angel, Shabbat Shalom, brothers. Glad you can make it. Also,
Shabbat
Sister Jennifer.
Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Looking forward to hearing about Moon City.
Shabbat
Right?
Shalom.
It is the Moon City. It's the first to fall as well. No coincidence. All right, so this is going to be from Yah's scriptures that we'll read from here. And again, it's going to be chapter 5 of Joshua, starting in verse 10. And what we're going to see here is the whole 7-day count, the march around Jericho, actually was the 7 days of unleavened bread, which is really fascinating. All right, so let me begin here. And the children of Israel camped in Gilgal and performed the Pesach on the 14th day of the month at evening on the desert plains of Jericho. So this is talking about Jericho. They were right there in Jericho, just outside the city. And they ate of the stored grain on the land on the morrow after the Pesach. So the day after the Pesach, which is the high Shabbat of unleavened bread. And they ate of the unleavened bread and roasted grain on this same day. And the manna ceased on the day after they had eaten the stored grain of the land. And the children of Israel no longer had manna, but they ate the food of the land of Canaan that year. And it came to be, when Yahushua was by Yaracho, that he lifted his eyes and looked and saw a man standing opposite him with his sword drawn in his hand. Notice it's a capital his. So this is, we could see it's about Mashiach, Yahusha. And Yahushua went and said to him, and Yahushua went to him and said to him, Are you for us or for our adversaries? And he said, No, for I have come now as captain of the host of Yahuah. And Yahushua fell on his face to the earth and did obeisance, and said to him, What is Adonai saying to his servant? So we can also this is more verification that this is Yahusha. Because the angels, they don't take obeisance like this. And it's only Yahuah that does. And he's the captain of the host of Yahuah. All of Yahuwah's armies, his angels, all of that. Who is the captain of that? That's Yahusha. Yeah, the angel of Yahuah. Exactly. The visual representation of Yahuah himself. All right, let me continue here. So, and the captain of the host of Yahuah said to Yahushua, Take your sandal off your foot, for the place where you stand is Kodesh. And Yahushua did so. And getting into chapter 6 here. And Jericho was shut up tight because of the presence of the sons of Israel, none going out and none coming in. So they had already seen them from afar coming in. They closed up everything because they knew what was coming. And remember, these were Canaanites here, just in the city of Yaracho. And Yaracho, actually, I can show you that right now. So it literally means, so they say perhaps from the moon because they don't like exposing that, but we'll get into that more. But it literally means moon is the root word for Jericho. And this is the Strong's Concordance, H3405. The word for the city, Jericho. And we can see it means Jericho equals its moon. Then it continues to describe the city of Jericho. So just wanted to get into that really quick. So we see this was the city of the moon, inhabited by Canaanites who worshipped a moon god called Sin. And we'll get into that more after this reading. But specifically here at Jericho, this moon god named Sin was called Yerick. Same deity, different name. So this is why the city was named Yaracho after this moon god, Yerick, who is Sin. This is where, sighting phases of the moon and things like that also come from. This is the first thing to get put down is the moon. Very interesting. And there are no coincidences. But let me continue here. Verse 2. And Yahuah said to Yahusha, see, I have given Jericho and its sovereign, mighty brave men, into your hand. And you shall go around the city, all the men of battle going around the city once. Do this for 6 days. And let 7 Kohanim bear 7 ram's horns before the ark. And on the 7th day, go around the city 7 times, while the Kohanim blow the horns. And so we can still see, while reading through this, there hasn't been a day change. This is still that high Shabbat of unleavened bread. And he's telling them, go around the city, right now, and then continue to do it for 6 more days. And then on the 7th, you go around 7 times, blowing these ram's horns, the shofars. Verse 5. And it shall be when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the horn, that all the people shout with a great shout, and that the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall go up, every man straight before him. And another interesting fact is, so when they did their little archaeological dig here at Jericho and things like that, we can see that the walls fell outward. So it gave them, basically all of Israel, like a ramp or steps to go up. We can kind of see that here as well. How do they go straight up if there's a wall there? We also have to remember, so I know we've gotten a lot into cymatics, basically what sound frequencies are in the past. And we have to remember that while going through this as well, because it's these frequencies that made these walls fall. Ultimately, it's because of Yahuah, but these played a part in that. So let me continue. Verse 6. And Yehoshua, son of Nun, called the Kohanim and said to them, take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 Kohanim bear 7 ram's horns before the ark of Yahuah. And he said to the people, pass over and go around the city, and let him who is armed pass over before the ark of Yahuah. So we also see Passover mentioned twice here in the same sentence. Again, no coincidences. And it came to be when Yahushua had spoken to the people, that the 7 Kohanim bearing the 7 ram's horns before Yahuah passed over and blew the horns, and the ark of the covenant of Yahuah went after them. And the armed men went before the Kohanim who blew the horns, and the rear guard came after the ark, going on and blowing the horns. But Yehoshua had commanded the people, saying, do not shout or cause your voice to be heard, nor let any word come out of your mouth, until the day I say to you, shout. Then you shall shout. No, we see that they were ram's horns here, actually. I mean, it could have been silver trumpets there as well. What I'm reading here is the ram's horns. Yeah. Maybe it's a translation issue. Yeah, well, we'll have to definitely check that out. Because, yeah, they did make silver horns for the priests. No, good questions. So it could possibly be silver horns, right? And here in the Yah Scriptures translation anyway, it's been saying like ram's horns. So yeah, I'll have to dig into that deeper. Or unless somebody wants to right now while I read through this. But anyway, so I was going to point out here. So he says, don't let any words even come out of your mouth until this day that I tell you to shout. And that's important as well. And it goes well with the cymatics that I just mentioned as well. So we're going to see on the seventh day, not only are they blowing the shofars and the horns, they're also shouting. And this is what caused these walls to fall outwards towards them. And then they can walk up those stones and go right in. That's my view anyway. So, all right, continuing verse 11. Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. I think, I won't. We're just going to read to chapter 6 here, so it's not too long. I don't mind reading it. Let's see. All right, let me continue here. So, verse 11. And the ark of Yahuah went around the city, going around once. And they came into the camp and stayed in the camp. And then we see, so this first time they did it was still that high Shabbat. And then we see, and Yahushua rose early in the morning, and the Kohanim took up the ark of Yahuah. 7 Kohanim bearing 7 ram's horns before the ark of Yahuah were walking, going on, and they blew the horns. And the armed men went before them, but the rear guard came after the ark of Yahuah, going on and blowing the horns. And the second day they went around the city once and returned the camp, and thus they did 6 days. So we see this is all the second day of going around, because the first day was the high Shabbat of unleavened bread, as made clear there in chapter 5, verse 10. And then they did this for 6 more days. And we're going to read about the 7th day here. And it came to be on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day and went around the city 7 times in this way. Only on that day they went around the city 7 times. And it came to be at the 7th time, when the Kohanim blew the horns, that Yahushua said to the people, Shout, for Yahuah has given you the city. And the city shall be put under the ban. It and all that is in it belongs to Yahuah. Only Rahab the whore is to live, she and all who are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. And you, by all means, guard yourselves from that which is under the ban, lest you come under the ban when you take of that which is under the ban, and make the camp of Israel a curse, and shall trouble it. But all the silver and gold and vessels of bronze and iron are kodesh to Yahuah. They go into the treasury of Yahuah. And the people shouted when the ram's horns were blown. And it came to be when the people heard the sound of the horn, and the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell flat. And the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they captured the city. So we see it was the blowing of the ram's horns, the trumpets, the shofars, and the people shouting, and the walls came down. And all they had to do was walk up into the city. And they put under the ban all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, and ox and sheep and donkey, with the edge of the sword. And the two men who had spied out the land, Yahushua said, "Go into the house of the woman, the whore, and from there bring out the woman and all that she has, as you swore to her." And the young men, the spies, went in and brought out Rahab and her father and her mother and her brothers and all that she had. So they brought out all her relatives and put them outside the camp of Israel. And they burned the city and all that was in it with fire. Only the silver and gold and the vessels of bronze and iron did they put into the treasury of the house of Yahuah. However, Yahushua kept alive Rahab, the whore, and her father's household, and all that she had. And she dwelt in the midst of Israel to this day, because she hid the messengers who Yahushua sent to spy out Jericho. And I like that because it says she dwelt in the midst of Israel, meaning she became part of Israel. And Yahushua warned them at the time, saying, "Cursed is the man before Yahuah, who rises up and builds this city Jericho. He lays its foundation with his firstborn, and with his youngest he puts up its gates." And Yahuah was with Yahushua, and a report about him was in all the land. So, pretty interesting stuff here. But what we see here is that this 7-day march was the 7 days of unleavened bread. And we know unleavened bread is a representation of the removal of our sin within ourselves, getting all that sin out. So what we see here is a literal representation of the removal of sin from the land itself. And we're going to go into right here is this moon god Yaracho, which we can see Jericho, because they were Canaanites, they worshiped this moon god Yaracho. And this is just a quick AI breakdown, but I don't recommend using AI, but quickly it's going over the difference between the moon god Sin and Yaracho. They're the same deity, known by a different name. And we can see that coming to the Wikipedia here of Yaracho, which it will break down for you here. And Yaracho is this moon god named Sin. And we can see that it was all in all these Amorite, Amalekite, these ites who were Canaanites. This is what they were all about, worshiping the moon. This is where the Babylon moon system, moon calendar came from. And then here we see the moon god Sin right here, mentioned with Yaracho, because it's the same deity, different names. And again, this is just to show, yes, they are the same representation of the same deity that, these Canaanites worshipped. This is how the Babylonian calendar came into play, because this is where Babylon got their calendar later on. Yeah, lunatics, 100%.
What a beautiful picture of them marching around the walls for 7 days, right? And then
Yeah.
blowing the shofar, and all the walls of sin crumbled down, right? So I think that's a beautiful
Yeah.
picture of unleavened bread as well.
Yeah, it really is. And that's exactly what it is. It's the walls of the sin crumbling down.
So then the 8th day is the day that they would have gone into the city itself, correct?
I believe so.
Or did,
Or it may have been on the
because
7th
all I
day
did
as well.
was it? Okay.
Yeah. So we see there was no war or anything like that. It was the people just surrendered to them. So they didn't have to fight or battle or anything. They just went up and they captured it. All the people surrendered. All were, well, put under the ban. So we see a lot of people like to say, oh, well, there's killing and death and things like that on the high Shabbat. Well, we see Mashiach himself also had to, give up his life on the high Shabbat. And this is just a symbol of dying to the flesh, a representation of dying in sin. Because these people, number one, they were not following Yahuah. Number two, I think it's actually in Jubilees that mentions, if they inhabit a land that's not theirs, they will be cursed and put to death. And that's exactly what the Canaanites all did here. This was the land promised to Abraham, and they took it over. And so this was just the prophesied coming of death to a people who spit in the face of Yahuah, really. They were offering their children. All kinds of, abominations were going on. I believe this is why the cattle, the women, the children all had to be put down, because they had that, Nephilim DNA right in them. They were mixing the animals, mixing the people. So it's just a representation of that sin dying to sin. And I thought go ahead.
I was just going to say, just another, definitely not a coincidence, but another connection there is, it says, in verse 7, it says, and he says to the people, pass over and go around this city and let him who is armed over before the ark of Yahuah. So before they went around for those 7 days, they did a Passover as well.
Yeah. I love the deep connections here, because it's true. It's so deep here, and just its connection to sin. And it's no coincidence they worship the moon god named Sin either. So it's and we see following the moon, like Babylon, is being in sin. So there's just so many deep connections here. It was the moon being trampled under the feet, just like we see in Revelation, where the moon is under her feet, being trampled. This moon city, Yaracho, was trampled, taken down, who worshipped a pagan deity named Sin. And it's all a representation of our sin, because it's all happened on unleavened bread, which in itself represents the removal of sin. It's just really fascinating to me, honestly. So deep. And then I wanted to read, so this is from, a couple of my write-ups, but Yahuah's Luminary calendar and my main one, you'll find this in. But I wanted to go over some of what I wrote about the Babylonian moon god Sin. And really, I got it from these sources we see above as well. It's really easy to find, but let me go ahead and read it here. So the Babylonian moon god Sin was central to Mesopotamian religion, linked to fertility, time, wisdom, and omens. Lunar cycles govern their calendar, influencing rituals, And these practices are relevant due to the Babylonian influence on the captives from Israel. The Canaanite moon god worshipping neighbors to ancient Israel revered Yaracho, the moon god, which we see as sin, influencing rituals that the scripture condemns, such as new moon sacrifices. At new moons, Canaanites offered grain, wine, or animals at high places to Yaracho, aka Moloch, aka Sin. Dances and chants invoked lunar blessings. Tarek was linked to the dew and agriculture, his cycles guiding planting. The Greco-Roman lunar rituals, later pagan traditions, relevant to the Hellenistic period, was common and tied to the moon goddesses. In Greece, full moon festivals for Artemis involved torchlit processions, offerings, and hymns to seek fertility. So we can see all of this really links back to Babylon. Even everything today, because we see, well, the beast, which is, Rome, not only do they observe these lunar things, our Gregorian calendar stemmed from a lunar calendar, but we see the same with the synagogue of Hasatan, the whore who rides the beast. They also worship the moon. Their calendar is determined by the moon.
So that's
This
really what Yah was talking about when he said, your new moons and your feasts and your sacrifices I do not desire, but obedience. He wasn't really talking about that he didn't want us to follow Torah. He was talking about the fact that they're doing it in accordance with the new moon festivals.
Exactly, yes. 100%. And that's where a lot of people, they don't really understand that, because they're like, see, look, we're not supposed to be doing these things. And no, that's not the context of that. The context is because of the Babylonian influence. That's what they were following. And this is made more prevalent in Ezekiel, especially from chapters 43 to 48. And specifically Ezekiel 44, where it talks about how all of Israel, the priests, all of that went astray following Babylon, except the sons of Zadok. It's really fascinating. And yeah, again, we can see Jericho, meaning its moon, the city of Yaracho, the city of the moon. It's just really fascinating, the connections. And like I said, I haven't had a chance to study this out really deep yet. This is just from my studies I've gathered this morning about it. So I thought it'd be cool to go over it together. Chapter 6, verse 4 is not in the Septuagint. Interesting. Wait, what is verse 4? Let 7 Kohanim bear 7 ram's horns before the ark, and on the 7th day go around the city 7 times. Huh. Does that mean... Let's see, Joshua 6:4. Let's see. I will check right now, because I know it says it'll have the different versions here inside. Usually Septuagint's like last here. Oh, the Brenton Septuagint is not here. Interesting. Very interesting. I think my computer froze up. Yeah. What's on my computer? Septuagint. Oops, sorry, had a lag there, but no, definitely interesting. Not in the Septuagint. Yeah, there was a wilderness named Sin as well. Hold on, give me 1 second here. I can. One moment. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, my computer seems to be really lagging at the moment.
Yeah,
Can
we
you guys
can
hear
hear
me?
you.
Sorry, my computer seems to be really lagging at the moment.
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
Me too.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, sorry, my computer was just really lagging for some reason. So yeah, there was a wilderness named Sin. It's the fastest I've heard you talk.
Yeah, you sound like your voice is like
But
speedy.
yeah, no, interesting stuff, and not in the Septuagint, that specific verse. I would definitely have to.
Yeah, you need to slow that down.
Yeah,
you need to slow that down.
interesting. Can you guys hear me?
Jeremy's like, what?
Me too, man.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I think so.
When you like I'm
Now I can't hear Brandon. Is it everybody's connection? Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, Jeremy, you kind of sounded like a
Can you
chipmunk.
hear me now?
That's the second time my computer's done that. And
Yeah. So
Yeah, Brandon and Sumi, you guys are coming in very choppy.
yes.
Natalie sounds clear.
Testing, testing.
The whole thing went blank for a second.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, Sumi, you sounded much better too. I'm not sure what's going on.
can you guys hear me now?
I think
Yes.
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just barely.
Let's see. I don't know how to turn it up here on my phone, my volume. Like, it doesn't let me turn myself up like it does on my computer. Anyway, if you all can hear me. I don't know why it's so quiet. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but
Yeah, you're sounding good now, Jeremy. You're sounding clear now.
okay, awesome. Gotta love technology, huh? Anyways, no, interesting stuff that specific verse, 6, Joshua 6, chapter 4, isn't in the Septuagint. I'll have to check that out in the Dead Sea Scrolls when I get a chance. Yeah, the enemy does not want us talking about this. Sorry, just catching it in the chat. So it was Joshua chapter 6, verse 4, Sister Jermaine. Yeah, Micah made us aware it's not in the Septuagint. And I looked not in the Brentons. So I would expect it would be probably the same in the Lexam. And Shabbat Shalom, Katrina. Been a while, sister. Good to see you here. To you and your son. To die, sister, yes. Rebuke the prince of the power of the air. So yeah, no, just some interesting stuff we learned about today. You know, if anybody wants to do a deeper dive on that, feel free. I know I'm going to be doing that as well. See if I can find more about all of that. But I just thought it was a fascinating connection, especially to the last, well, all of Unleavened Bread, but specifically the last day of Unleavened Bread, which is the High Shabbat, like today. Do know, actually, Marissa, if you want to do your songs up, we would all love to hear that if you're still planning on doing that. Yeah, no worries. Hold on just a moment. Also, two verses that mention seven horns. Wait, which other verse was missing? Another one was missing? Oh, and verse 8. Interesting. I would look it up, but that would just cause my signal to lag out, and it'll be really glitchy again. I don't know. Sometimes just the Wi-Fi and things like that, it's slow. But no, very interesting. These seven priests with the seven horns are missing. Yeah. Shungite stone on my Wi-Fi. Yeah. Sister Jermaine did. Yeah, I just find that fascinating that they would be missing in the Septuagint. I would definitely have to do some more digging and research in on that when I get a chance. Missing from the Septuagint or added to the Masoretic. Yeah. Interesting. You think that's something small. Like, why would you have to add it or remove it, whatever the case may be? Yeah. Something is definitely trying to be hidden there. And we know, well, we know that the synagogue of Hasatan has been working with the beast who is Rome since the Seleucid Empire. You know, nothing new under the sun. They work to hide the truth of Yahuah and promote their own truths. And they work with each other. Wait, what do you want to read? Jermaine? Feel free to read, by the way. Yeah, absolutely. Are you talking about Joshua? Okay, yeah, no, we just read that anyway. No worries. Yeah, so Joshua chapter 5, verse 10, if you read it through all the way to the end of chapter 6, it's the whole account of going around Jericho. And we see that that actual count began on the first day of Unleavened Bread until the last day of Unleavened Bread. Really interesting stuff. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we see it as the representation of the removal of sin. And just,
Also,
oh, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, am I supposed to be piping in once in a while, or should I be using the chat? I've had some
No,
coffee.
go right ahead. You're
Okay.
all good, sister.
Another thing is that right before that, Yahushua circumcised all the men. So that, being the prerequisite of Passover as well, all of the things are leading up and kind of matching up to that.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, right at the beginning, actually in the beginning of chapter 5, it speaks about how they used the flint stones, circumcised everybody, and then they observed the Pesach. Yeah, it's just really, really fascinating. And we went over all the the details about how the people of Jericho, they were Canaanites. They worshipped a moon god named Sin. All of Canaan did, even though they named their moon god Yerick. Still that same deity, just a different name. But they are all. This is where Babylon came from, the influence and all that, to follow moon phases and things like that. And it just so happened to be that the moon city Jericho was the first to be taken out, who worshipped the moon god. Where now we see nowadays that everybody's worshiping the moon, having these, new moon festivals and dances, blowing shofars at the new moon. Chai tea. Hey, I like chai tea. It's good. Yeah, no worries, Sister Jermaine. Yeah, and if anybody has anything to add, feel free to jump in. Open up your mics or type it in chat. Either way is good.
Jeremy?
Yeah, hey, shalom, brother.
Yeah, shalom. You, I got here a little bit late, but anyway, you were looking for 6:4 in the Septuagint, Jubilee 6:4.
No, Joshua 6:4.
Oh, okay. I've been looking in vain. Sorry.
No worries. Actually, Joshua 6:4 and 6:8, apparently. Yeah, so apparently those are the two verses that speak about the 7 Kohanim, the 7 priests going around the city with the 7 horns. Those two
Right.
verses are not in the Septuagint, apparently.
Okay.
Which is really interesting. There's something fishy going on there for sure.
Okay.
Definitely will.
I've got the Brenton Septuagint, and I've got Joshua 6:4 through 8.
Yeah. It has it in there?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Joshua 6:4, and it shall be then, it shall be that when you sound with the trumpet, all the people shall shout together. And when they have shouted, the walls of the city shall fall themselves, and all the people shall enter, each one rushing direct into the city. And Joshua the son of Nun went into the priests and spoke to them, saying, and let seven priests having 7 sacred trumpets proceed thus before Yahuah, and let them sound loudly, and let the ark of the covenant of Yahuah follow. Charge the people to go around and encompass the city, and let your men of war pass on armed before Yahuah. And that was 6:4 through 6:8 in the Brenton.
Interesting, because
And sorry for my reading. My eyes are pretty bad, and I have a little trouble reading off the computer.
No, it's all good, brother. Interesting. So it seems to mention the 7 priests with the 7 trumpets, but when we looked it up online, it was not there in the Brentons. Interesting. There's something fishy going
Jeremy,
on
did
there.
you want me to read?
Oh, yeah,
Did
go
you
ahead,
want me to
sister.
read it from my Septuagint?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So Joshua 6:4.
Yeah.
And it will be in that. Hang on, sorry. And it will be that right when you sound the trumpet, they must shout, all the people together. And when they shout, the walls of the city will collapse spontaneously, and all the people will go in, rushing each at the face into the city. That's 4 and 5. And Joshua the son of Nun went into the priests, and he spoke to them, saying, order the people to go around and encircle the city, and the warriors must pass by armed before the Lord. And 7 priests holding 7 holy trumpets must go by in the same way before the Lord, and they must signal vigorously, and the ark of the covenant of the Lord must follow after them. So it's mentioning it there, I think.
Yeah, interesting.
This is a hard copy.
Yeah, so online,
That's different.
Yeah. Oh, is it different?
That reads different, yeah.
What's the Masoretic one read as? Here, I know I had it up before. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Our printed Septuagint reads just like Jermaine's does. And it doesn't mention 7 priests with 7 trumpets either.
Mine said 7 priests and 7 trumpets.
Yeah, that's so. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna pull it up here. So from Joshua 6:4 to 6:8, and starting at verse 4, it says, "And let 7 priests bear 7 ram horns before the ark, and on the 7th day go around the city 7 times, while the priests blow the horns. And it shall be when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the horn, that all the people shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall go up, every man straight before him. And Yahushua son of Nun called the priests and said to them, take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 priests bear 7 ram horns before the ark of Yahuah. And he said to the people, pass over and go around the city, and let him who is armed pass over before the ark of Yahuah. And then here's verse 8. And it came to be, when Yahushua had spoken to the people, that the 7 priests bearing the 7 ram's horns before Yahuah passed over and blew the horns, and the ark of the covenant of Yahuah went after them.
So mine doesn't mention it twice.
Yeah.
It just mentions it once, sorry, at the end.
Very interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, so that 6-4 is like different. Yeah,
Yeah.
because even verse, so it looks like it's like verse 5 that goes there, but they like split it up into two. Interesting, weird. Because instead of saying, and let 7 priests bear 7 ram horns in verse 4, it says, and it shall be when you sound the trumpet, all the people shall shout together. So that's like verse 5 in the Masoretic. And then verse 5 there in the Septuagint is the rest of verse 5 in the Masoretic. So it looks like they broke up verse 5, or they combined verse 4 and 5 in the Septuagint and added that, 7 priests bearing the 7 horns going around for some reason. Very interesting. Definitely discrepancy. Yes, I agree. And ram's horns. I wonder why they would add just one line that already mentions that in the first place, but why combine 2 verses and then add one? I don't know, very, very interesting.
Well, I'm under the impression that the Septuagint is the more original, and the modern ones are the ones that have got the discrepancies, not the Septuagint having the discrepancy.
Yeah, I agree. I lean more towards the Septuagint if there is discrepancy. So that's why I was saying, why would the Masoretic, they combine verse 4 and 5 and then they add a whole new thing and make it a verse 4. Like, but it says the
Yeah,
same thing. It's very strange,
Yeah, there is a bit of that through different scriptures throughout the Septuagint, where even I think Psalm 9 and 10 have been split into two. Sorry, hang on. Sorry. I think Psalm 9 or Psalm 10 has been split into two in the modern versions, but it's just one big one in the Septuagint.
That explains the discrepancy in chapter or verse numbers
Yeah,
and chapter
yeah,
numbers.
yeah.
Interesting.
Over in verse 12 in Joshua, it talks about, 13. Do you have it that it's mentioning 7 priests and 7 trumpets there as well?
In
6:13.
13, let me see, 1 second.
It doesn't mention 7 in verse 12.
13. Sorry.
Yeah,
It says,
13.
go ahead, Jeremy.
Real quick, I'll read it real quick. So from the Masoretic version, it says, and 7 priests bearing 7 ram horns before the ark
Yeah.
of Yahuah were walking going on. So it says the same there?
Yeah, and the 7 priests carrying 7 trumpets, not ram's horns.
Yeah, interesting.
I think you might
I
be
wonder
breaking
why.
up again.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, in and out.
My apologies. I wonder why there's a discrepancy between trumpets and ram's horns.
So when
Wonder why.
I read trumpets, I imagine how they're talking about the silver trumpets made from metal and not from animal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were silver trumpets.
Yeah.
That's actually what Micah brought up earlier while reading through it. The silver trumpets. Wow. I know they actually do have a different frequency because, even a brass trumpet has like a different frequency than like a ram's horn. And even different horns have different frequencies too. Like an ibex horn versus a short ram's horn, things like that.
Actually, Lachlan's been blowing our shofar every day since he's been here, and I think on the first day we both blew it, and he blew it, and he made it sound high, a higher pitch, and when I blow it, it's a real deep, long, loud, that deep sound. But he blows it high, so you can get different frequencies out of the same horn depending on how you hold your mouth, I guess.
Yeah. No, you can get different notes and sounds like that, but what I'm meaning is like the sound itself. It's like different in a like metal instrument versus a animal horn.
Oh yes, yeah, I get you.
And it's interesting that the word is actually Yobel, which also means jubilees.
In the KJV, verse 4, and 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horns. So you've got strong 7782, which is the shofar, and horns, which is the silver trumpet. Now that's kind of wild.
That is.
It's like
That's
saying seven shofars of ram's trumpets. I think King James had something to do with this translation.
Yeah, there's no ram's horns in 6:4 for the Septuagint, the Lexham. It just says, and it will be that right when you sound the trumpet, they must shout, all the people together. No rams going on.
So they changed it to ram's horns instead of the silver trumpets then.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know a lady who went down a little rabbit hole, a little study on regarding trumpets and ram's horns and how they've changed things up, and how the silver trumpet is just so much more meaningful and magnificent in some way. The ram's horn was not meant to be some places, but they put them.
Yeah.
And I was going to say,
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Jermaine.
Can you imagine let's just imagine, sorry, it's all in my head, but it's hard to come out of my mouth. The magnificence of hearing lots of silver trumpets going off and the coming of a king. It's just, it's very awesome, the thought of lots of silver trumpets going off. I know that the sound of the rams, or the sound of the shofar or the ram's horn is good too, but that that of that silver high pitched trumpet of a king coming is just so much more awesome.
Sorry, sorry to butt in, but having a military background and a musical military background, there was something called the fanfare team. So these were the best brass instrument musicians, and they would have to play a fanfare, which would be a long trumpet, and there'll be a banner hanging down from the trumpet. And there's usually, I don't know, a small group of them, anything from 5 to 9 sort of trumpeters. And these are all played at very important occasions. You'll see them on any coronation or any sort of royal wedding or something, or any special occasion, or any visiting sort of monarch or something like that from another country. And the sound
Yeah.
is absolutely incredible. It just sort of it travels over the whole audience. It travels over everyone, and it's quite a piercing sound. It certainly is a fanfare. It's not like how do I describe it? It's not like a sound coming out of a normal instrument, like a blast or anything. It's a real, pin back your ears, that sort of stuff. So I'm sure that these fanfare trumpets must have had an origin from somewhere, and perhaps it
Yeah.
goes all the way back to the silver trumpets that were used by the priests in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all have an origin somewhere, and yeah, very fascinating.
They just seem just really royal. Do you know what I mean? There's a royalty about the sound, and the fanfare team had to be the best musicians, because I think that the trumpets are quite difficult to play, and they had to wear a different uniform, which was generally gold and black and quite sort of like luxuriously sort of looking sort of uniforms, and there would always be a banner hanging down from the trumpet. I mean, it's quite a long. It's probably I don't know, about a meter long, something like that. The actual trumpet itself, but it just smells of royalty. Do you know what I mean? It just smells. It just sounds of almost imperialism sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Do you see what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah.
You're explaining and expressing what was in my head. Thank you, Ken.
I mean, when we look at Revelation, it doesn't say that the angels blew a shofar. It says they blew a trumpet. So, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
What is the translation for Matthew and Thessalonians for last trump?
on the Strongs. I know Michael shared a link here, and it speaks about the difference between the ram's horn and the silver trumpets. And it states that Strong's was wrong. Yeah, which, Strong's gets a few things wrong, actually quite a bit. And it's because, they appeal to that authority of the synagogue of Hasatan in following the moon.
I agree. I've found a lot of mistakes in Strong's.
There's definitely a lot in there, especially about the word new moon itself, which is not new moon, it's actually Chodesh, which has nothing to do with the moon.
So in circumstances like that, when double checking those things, is the most accurate thing to do is to use an interlinear.
Yeah, correct. The interlinear actually doesn't use new moon or anything like that. It refers to it back to a new month or a renewal. So it's more accurate. And
I
you
was
can even
looking for a Bible like that. I was really wanting one that had the English, Greek, and Hebrew in it, but and the holy names in it, right? But you can't get everything.
right? That's asking too much. No. But I know that you can take like the modern Hebrew, take it back to the original, like the paleo or the pictographic, and you can get the meaning there just from which letter was used. And you can see it, usually it's far different than what Strong's even says. Yeah, thank you for sharing that article, Brother Michael. definitely, I will be definitely checking that out when I get a chance. Yeah, just some interesting stuff. And yeah, Marissa, are you ready
Yeah,
for your song?
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. I got the microphone set up too, so it'll sound a little bit better. Um,
Sweet.
yeah. I have a. You guys all right if I play a couple songs?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, why not? I have a few that I feel like are fitting for the last day of Unleavened Bread. Um, I was thinking a lot about how this feast has meant something a little bit deeper to me this year. Thinking about the leaven of our lives rather than just like, oh man, I can't eat the bread I like. Um, it's definitely has a deeper meaning for me. And so I was talking to a sister this morning, and um, when I think of leaven, the first thing I think of now is idols in our lives, the things that we turn to that are not Him. And then also it can extend to like the works of the flesh, and even just like what is the leaven in our character, if you will. What is the leaven in our behavior or in our beliefs? Where can we clean up our house or our temple inside? What is the leaven in our heart? And so, yeah, I just want to play a few songs that kind of speak to that. Can you guys hear me? Can you put it in the chat? Okay, cool. My Father, you are the guide of my youth. Is your anger forever? Will you keep it to the end? I have gone up every high mountain and under every green tree. I have played the harlot and turned from thee. My Father said, you have spoken and done evil things as you could. Lift up your eyes unto the high places. I will not cause my anger to fall upon you. Come back to me, Yasharel, I am married unto you. Return to me, I am merciful, I will forgive you. I will take you one of a city and two of a family. I will bring you to Zion. I shall give you shepherds after my own heart, and they shall feed you with knowledge of my word. Come back to me, Yasharel, I am married unto you.
Return to me. I am merciful, I will forgive you. You will not walk anymore after the stubbornness of your evil heart. And you shall call me my Father and will not turn away from me. Come back to me, Yasharel, I am married unto you. Return to me. I am merciful, I will forgive you. I am merciful, I will forgive you. I am merciful, I will forgive you.
Barak Yahuah, love it. Put a little twist on it. It was awesome.
Yeah, you could hear that. Like I played it a little bit different.
Yeah, for sure. I liked it.
You definitely did.
Yeah, a little bit slower.
Oh, it was good. I loved it.
Yeah, and like I like it because it's like realizing how you've done wrong and like the sin of your life and coming to Yah with that repentant heart and Yah just calling you back to him saying, come back to me, I'm married to you. He wants that reconciliation for us.
Absolutely. Yes. I love it. Barak Yahuah.
All right, I'm getting my next one. Shabbat Shalom. I love seeing everybody in the chat. That is awesome. There's so many people on today. Praise Yah.
Love it.
Okay.
Blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, nor does he stand in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the Torah of Yahuah. But his delight is in the Torah of Yahuah, and on his ways he meditates day and night. He meditates day and like a tree firmly planted by streams of living water, which yields its seed in its season, and its leaf does not wither, and in all he does he prospers, 'cause his delight is in the Torah of Yahuah. But his delight is in the Torah of Yahuah, and on his ways he meditates day and night. He meditates day and night. But the wicked are not so. They are like the chaff which the wind blows away. And therefore the wicked shall not rise in the judgment, nor the sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For Yahuah knows the way of the righteous. For Yahuah knows the way of the righteous. For Yahuah knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. But my delight is in the Torah of Yahuah. But my delight is in the Torah of Yahuah. His word Yahusha, and I delight in the Torah of Yahuah. And I delight in the Torah of Yahuah, and on his ways I'll meditate day and night. I'll meditate day and night. I'll meditate day and night. Thank you, guys.
Love it. Barak Yahuah.
Amazing.
So my thought was, okay, so like we realize we're sinners. We realize that we've been chasing after idols. We realize how we've turned our backs on Yah. He says, come back to me, you're my people. And then we're like, oh yeah, Yah's ways are so good. And so Psalm 1 made a lot of sense when we realized, that his word is the truth and the life, and that his ways are the paths of righteousness. And so, right. And so that is like, that becomes like the milk of the word, right? And so like the meat of the word, in my perspective today, is, well, how is your heart changing? What is the evidence of this in you? You know, how is it then, like, what is the fruit that you're bearing? And so that's going to bring me to my next song. You know, it's so funny you said that, Micah, because I was thinking about that song earlier today. So yes, I'll do that. That'll be the fourth song. So after this one. Just for you, brother. I love you too.
Making me a clean heart, oh Yah, and renew a steadfast spirit in me. Making me a clean heart, oh Yah, and renew a steadfast spirit in me. Do not cast me away from your presence. Do not take your Holy Spirit from me. From me. Restore to me the joy of your salvation and sustain me with a willing spirit. Restore to me the joy of your salvation and sustain me with a willing spirit, that I may show transgressors your ways, and sinners will turn back to you. That I may show transgressors your ways, and sinners will turn back to you. Making me a clean heart, oh Yah, and renew a steadfast spirit in me. Making me a clean heart, oh Yah, and renew a steadfast spirit in me.
Barak Yahuah. Love it. Very beautiful. Yes.
I'm so glad you guys liked that. I really like that song. So that song means a lot to me because there was several times when our second son, Tobias, that we've given him the opportunity to get baptized. And then one day, I think it was like a year and a half ago, he told us, like, yeah, I really want to get baptized. Actually, maybe it was on Shavuot last year. And we drove down to the boat launch, and Bobby went in and dunked Tobias. But at the time I had this song playing, I think it's like a really good, immersion song. Yeah, that's kind of funny because, so I have never played an instrument until now. And it was the beginning of May last year, I took Silas to a music store in Waynesville. And I just wanted to show him the guitars in the store, because he'd never been in a music store before. Well, they had ukuleles up on the wall. And I was looking at them, and my eye went right to this baritone ukulele, which is not like a traditional one. It actually has different chord shapes and everything to it, and it sounds lower, but it's still higher than like an acoustic guitar. And I asked the owner there if he would play some of it, play some of the ukulele for me. And as soon as he started playing and strumming it and finger picking, whatever he was doing, I just totally fell in love with the sound of that instrument. And I really wanted to buy it that day, but it's funny. My husband and I had just been talking that morning about, trying to hunker down, not spending too much money and everything. And then I see this ukulele I really like. And so I went home and I asked him about it, and he said, well, it would be good for you to have a hobby. And so I was like, really? And I went back there that night and I bought that ukulele right before brought my son to his activity, and he took a picture of me outside of that music store with it. But yeah, so I've been playing less than a year. I still don't know how to finger pick yet, but that's what makes Tabitha wonderful to play with, because she knows how to finger pick, and so her and I complement each other really well.
Oh, I love it. A great testimony and a great story.
Yeah, and so my original plan was, well, I just want to be able to play music for Sukkot. I love that, around a campfire, but I don't think I've really played it around the campfire, because, if you think about it, how are you going to see the music? I don't know. If I put it on the ground in front of me, but then I'm going to have my head down looking at it. And so anyways, I end up just playing in the living room, and that's really fun too.
Yeah, it works. You
Right?
just wing it around the campfire. That's what
Yeah.
you do.
I'm like, oh, I remember those chords. That's to this song. I can't do it by heart yet, so I have to have my Yeah, see, look what Tabitha's saying. You memorize it. Yeah, I did sit at the picnic table, and yeah, you're right, Silas. Okay, where's this Psalm 3? I'm so glad you asked for that one. I didn't know if that was too somber for today. Micah, what do you think?
Yeah.
You think Psalm 3 is too somber for the last day of Unleavened Bread?
I mean, I don't think so. A reminder. Everything's always a reminder.
Okay.
While you're looking for that, can I interject?
Yeah.
Right.
So as we were talking about the trumpets and the silver trumpets and the shofars and stuff earlier and the sounding. My mind kept going to a psalm that in my Bible I have written there. It's Psalm 89, where I have written in verse, now I moved that page. I have written there, it says, blessed are the people who know the sounding. They walk, O Yahuah, in the light of your face. And the sounding is teruah, which is back in Leviticus. I'm going somewhere with this. Hold with me because it's a little bit. Back in Leviticus, it goes with, speak to the children of Yasharel, saying, in the 7th new month, on the 1st day of the new month, you have a rest, a remembrance of Teruah, 8643. And it's blowing or sounding. And I did a study on that because I wanted to know like what that sounding. And one of the places that's used, it's used 15 times in the Old Testament, is in Psalm 150, and it's all about praising Yah and praising him with the music and the stringed instruments and the psalms. And as you're saying that, and I'm reading this, I'm like, that's an amazing testimony that you have. So Psalm 150 says, praise Yah, praise El in his set apart place, praise him in his mighty expanse, and praise him for his mighty acts. Praise him according to his excellent greatness, and praise him with the blowing of the shofar. Praise him with the harp and the lyre, and praise him with tambourine and dance. Praise him with the stringed instruments and flutes, and praise him with sounding, that's the 8643, in cymbals. Praise him with resounding cymbals, and let all who has breath praise Yah and praise Yah. And I love, one of my favorite parts about being in this fellowship is that you praise him with everything, with your ukulele, and it warms my heart every time you sing, as if you've been doing it for 100 years. And then I'm looking back at Leviticus 23, where I have notes on that. And the other place that it references is Joshua 6:20, the sounding, and Ezra and Numbers 10:5. And I'm just going to read this one because it goes back to our discussion earlier about when we were talking about the silver trumpets, and some say it and some don't. And Numbers 10:5. Actually, I'm going to go back to 10:1 and read through 5, because 10:5 is where it says, blow a shout, the camps that lie in the east side shall depart. But in verse 2, it says, or 1, it says, and Yahuah spoke to Moshe, saying, make 2 silver trumpets for yourself. Make them of beaten work, and you shall use them for the gathering of the congregation for breaking camp. And when they blow, both of them, all the congregation shall meet before you at the door of the tent of appointment. And if you blow one, then the leaders of the head of the thousands of Yasharel shall gather to you. And when you blow a shout, the camps that lie on the east side shall depart. And when you blow a shout the second time, then the camps that lie on the south side shall depart. And they blow a shout from them to depart. And when the assembly is to be assembled, they blow, but do not shout. And the sons of Aaron and the priests blow with the trumpets, and it shall be to you for a law forever throughout your generations. So I just found it amazing that that sounding specifically references the silver trumpets.
Wow, that's fascinating, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's very important and pertaining to exactly what we're talking about. Wow.
I know, and I literally just paged through Psalms because I could see it written in my Bible about the sounding, and I kind of remembered it. And then as Marissa's talking about her testimony about her ukulele, it's just like, it's the sounding. And do we know his sounding, So it's beautiful. Thank you, Marissa. And thank you, Jeremy, for that. That study was awesome. I loved it.
All praise to the Most High Yahuah. And yeah, I want to study it out more. Like I said, I hadn't had a chance to really dig really deep into it, but wow, I love it. All praise to the Most High Yahuwah. And yeah, also thank you, Sister Marissa. Less than a year, and that's our talent to Yahuwah. He shows his blessings, truly.
Okay, I got this one ready. I haven't played this one in a while. Oh Yahuah, how my adversaries have increased. Many rise up against me. Many are saying of me, there is no deliverance for him. In Elohim, Selah. But you, O Yahuwah, are a shield for me. You're my esteem. You're the one who lifts my head up, and I cry to Yah with my voice, O Yah. And he has heard me from his Kodesh mountain. Selah. I lay down and slept, and I awoke, for Yahuwah sustained me. Oh, and I'm not afraid. 10,000s of people who have turned themselves against me all around. But you, O Yahuwah, are a shield for me. You're my esteem. You're the one who lifts my head up, and I cry to Yah with my voice, oh Yah. And he has heard me from his Kodesh mountain. Selah. Selah. Arise, O Yahuwah, and save me, O my Elohim, 'cause you have smitten all my enemies. Arise, O Yahuwah, and save me, O my Elohim. For you have broken the wicked's teeth. Deliverance belongs to Yah, and your blessing is on your people. Selah, 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 Selah. But you, O Yahuwah, are a shield for me. You're my esteem, who lifts my head up, and I cry to Yah
with my voice from it.
Oh no, it was cutting out there a bit, sister.
Oh man, sorry guys.
No, it's all good. It was a beautiful song. Wanted to hear the end of it. Yeah, it was towards the end.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, I'm so glad you asked for it though, Micah. Like I said, I thought of that song earlier, and I'm like, oh, like that just hits me in the feels. You know, I'm so glad you asked for it.
Yeah, beautiful. We love your singing here, sister. It's a blessing.
Yeah, of course. All right, I got one more in me. Any requests?
I want to hear the Shema.
Okay, you called dibs.
All right. I think she's rejoining, perhaps. I think she dropped out there. It's all good. No worries. Oh, okay. Switching from her phone to the laptop. Okay, got it. No worries. There's just a silence there for a moment.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Shema Yasharel Yahuah is our Shema Yasharel Yahuah is one. Love him with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. Love him with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. Shema Yasharel Yahuah is our your heart, with all your soul, with all your might.
Love it. Barak, Yahuah. Thank you, sister.
Yeah, did that sound good? Like, was it clear?
Yeah, it was. It was really good.
Nice, sweet.
Yeah, Jermaine loves it as well. Thank you,
Oh,
sister.
I was really hoping you were on, Jermaine, so you could hear that.
The goats loved it. Yeah, Yahuah amazing. Absolutely. Man, I love you all so very much. Yeah, I love that song too. Yeah. A very important song, Shema, hear, O Yisrael, and obey. Yeah, it's a good song. And it's right there in scripture. Boom, very important.
Okay, but they're over there talking about me finger picking. I just went from 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There was no pattern to it.
Yeah, just
Tabitha, this is why I need you though. Like, I need you to fancy it up for me.
You'll get there too. The simple stuff is what you do first anyway when you're learning.
All right, you're gonna have to give me some tutoring on that one.
I can do that.
Cool.
yeah, Dwayne could give some tutoring too, I would imagine. He's got the experience under his belt. Yeah. Yeah, I think Dwayne, I don't see him in the chat anymore. Oh, yeah, he is here actually. Yeah, if you want to play a song, Brother Dwayne, that'd be cool. If you're able to. Lots of people are requesting.
Maybe Sukkot, if he comes to the same place we do, maybe we can all three play together. That would be like
Yeah,
phenomenal.
Yeah, that'd be
that would
awesome.
that would be. I know I would enjoy it very much. 100%. Yeah, it's all praise to the Most High Yahuwah, with our voices, musical instruments, and all upon his Kodesh Day, really. And that's what I love about the festivals. It gives us time to reflect on him and his word, and especially for Unleavened Bread, to reflect on our sin, to remove it, and then continue forward, moving on that narrow path. That's what it's really about. Yeah, the Yachad band, that would be cool. Like I said, I'm gonna have to get a drum set again at some point and start practicing. I used to play back in the day. I'm probably definitely a bit rusty. It's been over a decade since I've touched a drum set, so probably even longer than that, to be honest.
I bet it's like riding a bicycle. You never
Yeah,
forget.
yeah. I bet it is, right? Once I get back on it. Yeah, everybody wants to hear a song from you, brother. They're doing a request. Of course, if you're able,
Did
if you want
I
to.
don't know whether you I don't know whether you heard what I said a few minutes ago or not, because I've been having trouble with my speaker.
No, we
Did you
didn't
know
hear
I
you.
was talking to you?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, uh, my songs are the ones that I've written are old, and I'm not comfortable playing them. What I think I'm going to do is start finding some special scriptures to sing. Like that's what Marissa's doing a lot of. I think more in tune with this way, you know.
Yeah, yeah, but we like your songs as well, brother. I think that's what makes them so good is they are old.
Well, I'll do one. I don't think I've done this one for you. Uh,
Awesome. Thank you, brother.
can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
This one, I was just really pondering and meditating over this years ago, um, about what yeah had in store for us all way out there, you know. So anyway, it's called "What Do You Have in Store." When I think about the universe around me, and I ponder all the things that I have seen, all the beauty and the splendor of creation, I need to sometimes wonder what it all could mean. Does it mean that this is all there is? Does it mean I've seen and done it all? Or does it mean that this is just a taste of something better somewhere down the road? Gave me eyes to see the colors of the rainbow. You gave me ears to hear the sound of falling rain. Then gave me senses to feel the touch of beauty. and perception to also feel the pain. Does it mean that's all that I can hope for? Does it mean there's nothing left to come? Or does it mean you have a gift awaiting of the treasures from the kingdom up above? When I think about the universe around me, I have to wonder, Yah, what do you have in store? Are the things thus far reflections of your glory? And are they just the start of multitudes of more? Does it mean there is much more to come? Does it mean my heart has not conceived of all the gifts you have for us awaiting in the treasure chest of your undying love?
Love, brother. Thank you.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
you're welcome.
Yeah, everybody loves it. It's got
Thank you,
that.
Johnny Cash. I mean, Dwayne.
Thank you. Y'all be blessed.
Yeah, you as well, brother. Thank you. We appreciate it. We love all of our mishpah here who can sing, play instruments, or do both. Oh, Sumi missed it. Well, Sumi, you were marching around Jericho, so it's all good. That's awesome, by the way. Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you for singing and playing. We all very much enjoy it. And you as well, Sister Marissa. Yeah, I'm sure Dwayne can help give you some tips with playing too, for sure.
We all got to get together sometime.
Yeah, Sukkot. Gather around the fire. You can all play together. That'd be awesome.
There's nothing like playing around the fire.
I agree. Very beautiful. You know, even just sitting around the fire with Mishpah, it's something different and very special. Yeah, it'd be cool if you want to play as well, Tabitha. That'd be great. And whoever else has any musical talent, you know, we'd love to hear it. It's all about praising Yahuah, really. Yeah, do a Not, it wouldn't be a duet, it would be a triplet. Tabitha, Wayne, and Marissa. Just learn the Shema song all together. Maybe in 45 minutes. Yeah, if we're still going in 45 minutes, I'm down. And I see Lachlan joined. Shabbat Shalom, brother.
Shabbat Shalom. I need to get an alarm clock thing. I put my phone in like a Faraday cage and it doesn't really work from there. And it's getting dark, so like late now. I usually get up when the sun gets up.
Yeah, it's becoming winter for you guys there, right?
Yeah, it's getting into it. It's getting colder.
Interesting. Yeah, are you still with are you still at Jermaine's there?
Yeah, until the 14th, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to fly out. Because I think that's when like that cyclone was meant to hit, or like I don't know what it's doing now, but it's like a tropical low or something.
Yeah. So it'll have an effect on the flights.
Yeah, but it might still be going. I'm not sure. I might ring up Lex tomorrow or Monday.
Well, I'll definitely be praying about that for sure. All these man-made weather situations, weather manipulation, really.
They've literally got this big like circle thing offshore, like up north, and it's like I'll see if it's going right now and I'll drop it in the chat, but it's like this massive circle, and they like got a heap in Australia, and yeah, they just fully control the weather.
Yeah, wild. And speaking of weather clouds and things like that, so you know how they have this new quote unquote Artemis mission to the moon and things like that? It's hilarious because the photos that they share, you can totally tell that they're CGI. And you know, what made me think about it was, well, the clouds on two different photos are exactly the same. And number two, there's not a single chemtrail to be seen on any of the pictures whatsoever. You know, like right now I'm looking up and I see like 100 chemtrails. So to say there's not a single one in any of those pictures, Photoshop. You know, even my 11-year-old son Callan, he saw those and he was laughing about it. We were actually having a really good laugh about it all for like an hour. And another interesting thing about that is, so here in Arizona, we can see when they launched their, Musk rockets from California. And they launched another one. It was like just a few days ago, actually. I may have already said this story, but yeah, it was on, I think it was after the Shabbat or something like that. Anyways, or before the Shabbat, something like that. Anyways, me and Callan were coming back from the store and he pointed out like, hey, is that a chemtrail in the sky? And it was like this glowing copper chemtrail looking thing. And it turns out it was just the rocket launch because when the clouds broke, you can see it. And it was doing like a snake-like pattern in the sky, like left and right swirly kind of thing. And the head of it, because it has that big, like, I don't know what to call it, outline or something, but it looks kind of like a dragon's head. So with that snake thing, it leaving that trail, and then the head looking like a dragon, it straight up looked like a a bronze or copper serpent in the sky, like a dragon. And I thought that was pretty significant. Like they're making a mockery of Yahuah and promoting Hasatan without even realizing it. Yeah, there's that storm you were talking about. Isn't it interesting how there's like a perfect circle in the middle of it like that? That's how you know, like, weather just does not form in a fixed circle like that. Just, there's no way. But yeah, we see that they manipulate the weather, they manipulate everybody's minds, they manipulate our history, all to hide the truth of Yahuwah is what it really is. And yeah, it's 100% proof of weather modification. And that was another thing too, is again, Callan was like, isn't space straight up? Why is it going sideways? And every other one we see, they continue to go sideways until, well, they arch down to the ground again. They never go straight up. Yeah, Elon has to explain a bunch. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Operation Fishbowl. Look into that. There was a time they were trying to nuke the firmament. There's all kinds of shady stuff behind that, but it really all correlates into that web of lies to hide Yahuwah's truth is really what it's about. But yeah, it all has to do with weather manipulation as well. But you know what? No weapon formed will prosper. And prayer will always help. And there's nothing too powerful for Yahuwah. We have plenty of testimony in our fellowship here of tornadoes ripping through and storms coming through, but everybody was protected. No harm came to anybody. Or, storms bypassing people's complete houses and properties, but everything around them was damaged. That's just the blessings of Yahuwah with the willingness to follow him. Yeah, if she would be comfortable, I would be down with that. Yeah, it'd be great to hear. Sharing.
Sure, I don't mind.
Awesome. Go right ahead.
Yeah, last year on Pesach, Nana was there and another family who was just starting to walk in the way, still hadn't fully come out of church doctrines yet. And we're all like worshiping and praising and everything and getting ready to eat, and the lamb was finally done, and it's starting to storm outside, and I can remember the moment that literally the tornado sirens are going off, and me and Tabitha and Nana Kelly are sitting around the table, and we're having our Pesach meal, and the others are out on the porch and freaking out. I mean, Micah wasn't freaking out, but the other family was kind of freaking out about the tornado warning, and like, oh, we need to get in the bathroom. We need to get in the bathtub. We need to put the children in the bathtub. And I'm just kind of like all chill, like, it's Pesach. Do you see the red over the door? And I had my tambourine out, and we were just worshiping, and the tornado literally went just on the other side of where our yard met the neighbor's yard. Literally went right through on the dividing line between yards. 2 trees fell into our front yard. but did not damage anything that belonged to us. It was amazing watching Abba just protect us and keep us from harm in that storm, and it could not touch us. It really couldn't, and it was an amazing example of how we don't have to have fear. And yeah, I'll never forget that ever. They did blow shafars at it. It was amazing. Praise Yahuah.
Yeah, praise Yahuah. That's awesome. Yeah, I remember you explaining that story actually, and that's what was coming to my mind. Yeah, it's just a Jericho, and he will protect you no matter what storms come around. Yeah, thank you for sharing. All of our testimonies are a testimony to Yahuah, truly. I know Sumi's had a testimony to all the children, this unleavened bread. I keep asking her to talk about her testimony, but yeah, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And think about it, our testimonies are important. There's the testimony of all the patriarchs, testimony of Moses, Abraham, really everybody in Scripture. It's their testimony. It's all a testimony to Yahuah. They're all a witness to Yahuah. That's why it's frequently mentioned, my witness, my testimony. That's Yahuah saying that. And it's because all of our testimonies. And Shabbat Shalom to you, Sister Tracy. Thank you for joining. Glad to have you. And yeah, I did want to get deeper into the whole Jericho thing. I will probably do that throughout the next couple weeks. And I want to try and do a little write-up about that as well. But I do know First Fruits is coming up here very soon, actually after this next Shabbat, which will be on Tuesday. And I know we have our midweek midrashes usually on Saturdays. But because we're having our fellowship today for that Shabbat, we'll just we'll hold that one off until the next week comes around. But yeah, has it been 45 minutes yet, Tabitha? You got a chance to play? And going back to that whole cyclone, tropical storm, hurricane, what have you, I've definitely been praying about that over there in Australia. We've seen what prayers can do, and we've seen storms pass over everybody's place. Yahuah will protect you for sure. And I think it's really awesome that Lachlan's able to spend time there with Jermaine and Drew. Yeah, it will be fine. I know for a fact, because Yahuah has y'all 100%. And yeah, I just love fellowshipping with each and every one of you. Every time we do fellowship, no weapon formed will prosper 100%. And yet, I know So to talk about some upcoming fellowships we have planned, we're planning on, of course, going over different aspects of the calendar for a monthly thing, once, maybe twice a month. And not only to help the newcomers to understand it, walk through scriptures, but so everybody else can have a better understanding as well. And then that's how we help others. And then we are also planning on doing a part 2 of the little season, walking it through scriptures, all of that. Again, there's no like set dates or anything right now. It's just things we're speaking about and that we're planning on going over. And I know for first fruits, we'll definitely have a fellowship here. Even though it'll be right after our Shabbat fellowship, we'll just have like a quick, maybe like hour fellowship or something like that. Just to have a gathering for first fruits. Probably go over the scriptures on how Messiah became our first fruits on that day. I know we've covered it in the past a couple times. Yeah, lots of birds chirping out here in Arizona. Because it's usually sunny and warm. We have like 100 different types. And that reminds me, I keep forgetting to take pictures and video of all the quail that come each morning and evening. No, it's just the beauty of Yahuah, his creation. I like the sounds of birds chirping though. It's peaceful. Yeah, I noticed that there's places where there isn't many birds and you don't hear that many birds chirping and singing. But there are places like here where, they're just always chirping and singing. Yeah, 100% Bobby. Yeah. Flock of quail coming up. And, yep. Yeah, they're just wild out here. I believe they're in here in Arizona, parts of it anyway, and in California as well, the same kind of quail. Yeah. That's where it's probably the same. That's why it's like that here, because it's more of I wouldn't say a green plain, but more of a desert plain, because it's basically all flat except for a few mountains that we have here and there. And that's just here in Phoenix, really, where it's like all flat. But the more you go north, the more mountainous it becomes. Yeah, you have lots of mini quail. Well, I'd say they're big quail, actually. Oh, Jermaine, do you have quail or a quail house? Do they have quail out there and all?
Yeah, we have lots of little quail. We've got a couple of different ones just living wild around our gardens and forest.
Nice, that's cool.
I know.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask if you guys covered what we did last year, what we talked about last year on Unleavened Bread, how they wouldn't have run out to the shops and got leavened bread the next day. They would have still been eating unleavened bread the day after the last day of Unleavened Bread. because they wouldn't have had any leaven ready to be making leavened bread. Have you guys talked about that this morning?
Oh, that's actually a good reminder. Yes, I had completely forgotten about that talk. Yeah, very important actually.
And so by the time they started making their leaven, the day after unleavened bread, which will be tomorrow for us, it'll take a few days for that to be ready to be even able to make leavened bread like our sourdough. And back where they lived in that time, they wouldn't have been able to just run down to the corner shop and go and get a big fat fluffy loaf of bread, because no one would have had any in that area, because it wouldn't have been allowed to have leavened bread or any leaven. So yeah, and it will be ready like by first fruits. For the time of your leaven, your starter, to be ready to make a loaf of bread will be at first fruits.
Wow. That's actually pretty important because, wow, then it will be the first fruits of the first, batch of leavened bread you're able to make. Wow, interesting.
Yeah, do you remember us talking about this last year? And
Yeah.
the emphasis of I was seeing it as well.
So, Katrina is asking if you can share how to make a basic starter.
Yeah, I was thinking when I get back from the goats and do everything, I'll send a link to how to make a nice, easy, basic sourdough starter. But it is with fresh ground milled grain. But I'm pretty sure it'll work the same with normal flour if you just have normal flour.
Yeah. No, thank you, sister. And very important information and very, very true. Something to think about and reflect on. They didn't just rush to the corner store and, sorry, my neighbors. They didn't just rush to the corner store and grab a loaf of bread. They didn't have that. So yes, they would have to make their starter fresh, and then boom,
Yeah.
it would be ready right there on first fruits.
In the
That's pretty
tropical
amazing.
area, tropical climate, it's pretty well ready 3 days later, but it doesn't make a really good loaf until it's been fed a few more times. 5 days is really perfect to get started in our tropical climate. Something else I wanted to say too, over these past 9 years, doing Passover and unleavened bread, you do transform, you do see things differently, bit by bit, year by year. And just also watching people, on Facebook feeds and stuff, and always the day after unleavened bread, they're all bringing out these, what do you call them, memes about, now we can eat leavened bread. Yeah, let's go out and get Twinkies or whatever it is you guys have over there that are leavened and really yummy. But it's like, no, guys, no. No. We're still eating unleavened bread because there's nothing leavened ready yet.
No, that's a good point. And yeah, Twinkies are probably the last thing you should be rushing to eat. Nothing but sugar. But yeah, no, that's a very good point. We have to think about how they originally did it. They weren't rushing to the corner store because corner stores didn't exist. They had just, come into that land as well. So, they weren't eating anything from the shops of these cities because, well, the cities are no more. So that is just really excellent point, and how it correlates with first fruits as well. I love it. Yeah. Twinkies are outlawed in the UK. I wouldn't doubt it because here in the US, They allow things that are outlawed in many other countries. So, yeah, I would not doubt it.
In Australia, Twinkies are called Hosties. And I was just thinking, like, to myself, oh, because is that like, because they're like parasite food for the host, or?
Interesting. Yeah, because the company that makes them is called Hostess. So, wow, interesting. Well, at least here in the US, it's called
Oh,
Hostess.
it might be Hostess. Yeah, I might have got it wrong, but yeah, I was like, yeah, Hostessence.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, I know they got very strict laws around you in the UK about food and things. Tastes like soap to you. Yeah. Yeah. They're all bad.
We were actually having a interesting convo yesterday about soap too. How it used to be like made with lye, and there was that saying of like, I'll wash your mouth out with soap, like when you were saying something bad. So like, and then lye is used for like parasites as well, or worms and parasites.
Interesting. Is that why their mouth was washed out with the soap? Because it was made with lye?
Yeah, I
What?
think that's where the saying
Wow.
came from.
No, I believe it all connects. And, even speaking on that topic of soaps, even in soap, they have these chemicals and things that are not good for us. If it's not good for us to eat, it's not good for us to put on our skin either, because our skin can absorb that type of stuff. Having, natural made soaps, making your own soaps and things like that, highly recommended for sure, for all natural soap. Yeah, and then they'll have lard in some soap bars. And depending where that comes from, it could be from a unclean animal, like a swine, a pig. We would not want to wash ourselves in swine, you know? So it's just wild how they put it out there on purpose. Is it always from a pig? Wow. Yes, very actually. It's called tallow from a cow and lard from a pig. Interesting. That's true. Yeah, it does defeat the purpose of washing yourself. You're not even washing yourself. You're just rubbing an abomination all over yourself. And yeah, no good. Yeah, goat's milk in the soap. Yeah, all of that really good. No, I would highly recommend to looking into making soap. It's not really that hard, really. I've looked into it myself, making my own. I know there are people out there who sell natural soaps that they do make. I've bought many of those. I know, like in the stores, you can find like natural soaps and things like that, but as with everything else, I highly recommend doing it yourself if you're able to, of course. That lye is great for killing parasites. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, can I just mention our situation yesterday? It's regarding parasites. So we took a buckling to the vet because he had an abscess on his jaw, and while we were there, he did a sloppy poo, which sometimes means, or generally it means, either parasite issues or coccidiosis or acidosis, which means being overfed. And sorry, I'm just puffing because I just had to take a goat somewhere. So anyway, I said, oh, can you please sample that? Can you just collect that and sample it? Because I was really interested. We've been feeding our livestock lye, the stuff that you put in soap, make soap with, because it's an anti-parasitic, but they won't tell you this. Anyway, and it's made from wood ash, which is really good for anti-parasitics as well. So anyway, they did the sample, and then when I got home from town, I gave them a call and said, how did the sample go? And he said there was only a couple of on the computer. They can bring up some sort of system to do the count of how many worm eggs are within a small space. And he said, and I said, well, what's the worm count? And he goes, look, I didn't even bother doing it because it was that small. There's practically no worm eggs. Like, yeah, it was pretty clean. I didn't even bother doing the actual count because I could just see it with my own eyes. And I've gone, oh, great, thanks. And it's, yeah, so the lye, and the last two samples I took to another vet when we were getting some eggs disbudded. I got them to do some samples on some sloppy poops as well. And they said it was very, very good. Don't need to worm. The egg count was low. And sorry, so the sloppy poop ended up being because we do overfeed. Sometimes we spoil the goats. And so my husband was actually slipping a little bit of extra loosening for the bucks, and it sort of made them get a bit runny. So yeah, I just bring all that up to say that, you know, we've been duped, we've been lied to about parasites and the livestock. Back many years ago, many years ago, they would use the wood ash, the lye, to help with doing the anti-parasitic cleansers. They would bring charcoal from trees, and the goats and the sheep would chew on that, and that's also a good anti-parasitic. So yeah, just for anyone who wanted to look into that, I've actually got the links in the livestock tab in the library group regarding how to use the lye that you use for soap making to yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, sister. Yeah. I wonder if we have a tab on that, do we? Yeah, I know there's lots of videos on YouTube on how to make your own soaps. All right, awesome. There's a tab for it. Yeah, there's lots of benefits from making it your own way. And it goes with Sirach, you know, Yahuah made medicines of the earth, and those who abhor them are unwise. We need a tab for what's in the tab, like a table of contents. I know, right? Yeah, we have been lied to about literally everything, truly.
Hey, and with all the wood burning on the sacrifices and things like that, and the offerings, all that wood burning, they'd have a stack of ash. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, and eating scripturally clean, it's part of maintaining our temples as well. And, you know, if we're eating unclean things, it's scientifically proven that, you know, pork and shellfish, things like that, they're not really good for us at all. They actually introduce a lot of parasites and things like that. Yeah. Sometimes you end up in different tabs by accident and have no idea how you got there. Oh, nice. That's awesome, Heidi. Your husband just brought home an older microscope from a scientific medical center that was being given away. Yeah, that's usually some pretty top-notch equipment too. And let's see. I see Lisa and Greg are also here now. Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha, and all of you who have joined recently.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Well, I would be careful with him, Silas. It's I'm sure you already know, but you know, there's things I would agree with, but I wouldn't agree with. But that's a whole different topic. That goes much deeper. Oh yeah, the Zelda game, Sumi. Yeah, I remember that game back when I was a child. But yeah, it was really that's what it all involves is like magic and witchcraft and things like that. So, and it's not just video games, it's music and television with the programming and the channels, all that stuff. Man, I played the original one. Yeah, exactly, Sumi. Yeah, it's all got witchcraft, magic, spells, all these things. Even sports. You know, someone was mentioning before, how even like ice skating and things like that, you think it's like innocent. Oh, nothing wrong with it. No, they're doing poses, like poses to deities and things like that. So, yeah. And Shabbat Shalom, Sister Sarah as well. Happy High Shabbat of Unleavened Bread.
Yeah. Shabbat Shalom to you all.
Good to see you here.
Thanks. Good to be here. Appreciate this.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, what y'all talking about?
Well, a whole lot. But right now we're talking about, witchcraft is in like video games, movies, television,
Oh,
sports,
yeah.
like all
Yeah,
that.
it's all over. It seems to be prevalent throughout our society.
No, it really is. And yeah, Shabbat Shalom, Sister Wendy. Glad you can join us. Yeah, it's just there's no getting around it really. It's everywhere. Yeah, very addictive. They are very addictive, and yeah, thankful I never got onto video games. I was hooked on video games before because I grew up with them, not knowing. Yeah, Disney. Yeah, the whole D in there. on all their little Disney things that they got. If you put those together, it's always a 666 there. Yeah, it all goes very deep, and it all connects all the way back to Hasatan, really. No worries, Tabitha. Yeah, like when I was a child, I grew up on like Disney movies and things like that. I remember them all very well. But yeah, all the songs that they do in there, the symbolism, like even the early like Disney cartoons, they all link back to Freemasonry. All these, it all connects back to that, and it's really wild, and it intertwines into everything. Because then you see all these companies are all intertwined, connected to each other in some kind of way, and it all has to do with Freemasonry and things like that. So yeah, no, all these Disney shows, like, and then that's the thing too. That's how it gets pushed on from generation to generation because it's like, oh yeah, I grew up watching these, so pass it on to my children, not realizing what's really going on behind the scenes. But that's how we break generational curses. I know my son knows about all that. He's only 11. I had no idea about any of this when I was 11. So he's got a huge head start on me. And yeah, it really all stems from that deception. We see the lies about our history, the lies about where we live, the lies about everything. It all really links back to like Freemasonry and things like that. Literally, it all links back to it. It's wild. You see, they have their little their hand in every. Yeah, that threw away thousands of dollars of movies, Disney as well as others. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Yep. I used to have a huge DVD collection and even those old school Disney video cassettes and things like that. Like don't have anything like that anymore. Yep, and that too. Saw a testimony of a woman who ended up justifying what she was doing in the Order of the Golden Dawn, Freemasonic thing there. So partly because of the programming from all the Disney as a child. Yeah, burn them. Yeah, got rid of a whole lot in your house. Yeah, exactly. I have a bonfire, just burn it all. Yeah, sure, things can be worth a lot of money, whatever, but that's the thing, is it has these ties, and you don't want to be passing that on to others. Yeah, especially Elmo. But yeah, once you realize that, then you realize the whole web of lies and how everything's all connected. You know, you see it's connected to the beast of Revelation, who is Rome, and then the harlot who rides the beast, which is the synagogue of Hasatan, the fake Jews. They all have their hand in everything. I think someone was asking about that. Oh, I think it was Brother Kelly who was asking about that. He's not here right now. But he mentioned something, how people in Ukraine or something could be the synagogue of Hasatan and not the people over there in Israel. I would kind of disagree. Maybe they are a part of them, the people in Ukraine, but I think those people who pretend that they are Jews, they literally stem from Japheth, and they have Nephilim blood mixed in them. And that's revealed actually if you read through scriptures and you can discern what it's saying. Those talking Elmos, ew, yeah. Anything that talked, those kind of toys, yeah, burn all of that. They had a lot of that when I was growing up, like the talking toys and like the what was it? The little monster alien looking things, Furbies. That's what it was. Like all of that. David. Yeah, burn all of that. You're ready? Oh, Tabitha. I was killing time until you're ready, so. Not that these aren't important topics, because they really are, and it all connects.
Yes, they definitely do. But I kind of had a feeling you were burning time.
Yes.
So I appreciate that. All right. I don't know if anybody knows this song, but it's Abide by Dwell Songs, Aaron Williams. For my waking breath, for my daily bread, I depend on you. Oh, I depend on you. For the sun to rise, for my sleep at night, I depend on you. Oh, I depend on you. You're the way, the truth, and life. You're the well that never runs dry. I'm the branch and you are the vine. Draw me close and teach me to abide. Where the Ruach leads as I'm following, I depend on you. Oh, I depend on you. For the victories still in front of me, I depend on you. Oh, I depend on you. You're the way, the truth, and the life. You're the well that never runs dry. I'm the branch and you are the vine. Draw me close and teach me to abide. Be my strength, my song in the night. Be my all, my treasure, my prize. I'm yours forever, you're mine. Draw me close and teach me to abide. When I pass through death, as I enter rest, I depend on you. Oh, I depend on you. For eternal life, to be raised with you. I depend on you. Oh, I depend on you. You're the way, the truth, and the life. You're the well that never runs dry. I'm the branch and you are the vine. Draw me close and teach me to abide. Be my strength, my song in the night. Be my all, my treasure, my prize. I'm yours forever, you're mine. Draw me close and teach me to abide. 'Cause I depend on you. I depend on you. I depend on you. 'Cause I depend on you. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you, sister. Beautiful.
You're welcome.
We love it. All the musical talent here.
I'd definitely like to learn a few more for you guys, but we shall see how that goes.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Do some duets with Marissa. We always love that.
Most definitely. I love that as well. It's my favorite.
Me too. Thank you, sister. So yeah, we're getting at, well, we're only at 3 hours. But yeah, I just love fellowshipping with you all. Such a Barakoth, a blessing every time we come together. And it's always good to learn something new and dig deeper into things we never thought before. Just like earlier, the whole march around Jericho. I didn't realize it was during the time of Unleavened Bread. So just goes to show we can never stop learning and studying. But yeah, I think we may end it there for this evening. And we'll be back here on Shabbat day for our Shabbat fellowship on Tuesday. And I don't know, I have to get something together for our Shabbat fellowship. So Yahuah always provides and makes it happen. So I'm not too worried about it. We'll get something together. But yeah, last day of Unleavened Bread today, the High Shabbat. I love fellowshipping with each and every one of you. I love all the input and just everything you all have to add. Truly such a blessing. I love each and every one of you. And we will see you all on Tuesday for Shabbat, Mishpachah. Much love. Shabbat Shalom. And we will talk to you all soon here.
Shabbat shalom.